not even 3 full days into April and already at a 12.6x ROAS with one of my ad campaigns, just one of them. It's already brought me over $9,000 cash collected inside of my business. Just yesterday alone, I had 7 new buyers come into my ecosystem, not leads, buyers here, right? And these are the types just of results that can happen when you really put the right priorities in place, when you stop guessing and start building a truly genuine system. But you have to understand your numbers first in order to make any of this possible. Now, before you get excited about this, just thinking that, hey, this is about ads, whatever, relax, all right? Because I'll tell you right now, if I handed you the keys to my ad campaign, you probably lose money with it, all right? Now, most coaches are playing checkers out here when, I'm trying to get you to see the chessboard, if we're being honest. And most of you are trying to scale with just one offer. You got one offer, you're into cold traffic, and just wondering why your numbers aren't working, wondering why you're getting leads with no conversions. And it's because the economics, they just do not make sense. In 2021, that was me, right? I was over here running ads, right? One offer, praying it converted. The old me needed every sale to work. Right now, I just don't, because one buyer doesn't equal one transaction anymore. And that is the shift, big picture for you. All right. What's going on? I'm Justice Severin. I am here making these videos for you every week. And I want to just make sure that today, this is another great one for you to tap into, right? Because the reality is, I just believe that really you don't have the problem with leads and offers, all these things. I really think the reality is you have an economics problem, if we're being real. Right? Your back end isn't built. You don't have your offer ladder that exists just yet. And really, there's no next step. So really, these are all leaving you capped at the end of the day and making it very hard to grow. I mean, and let's just even make this real, right? Let's just say it costs you $100 to acquire a customer. They buy one thing, you break even. Cool. Well, what if in the reality you could have where that one person of spending $1,000, right? Beyond just $100 there, right? 500, 1,000, $3,000 and beyond. Now you get to the point where you could outspend your competition drastically. This is where the economics of people are really dropping the ball when it comes to ads, and especially when you're newer into this because you're just thinking about that one core thing you have. The problem is when things don't go right with that one thing, it leaves you very limited big picture with your entire business here. And this can really start to hurt, especially when I think about myself when I was just strictly organic versus kind of the cold traffic reality here. When you're organic, people trust you. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. It's just you they trust, right? And so people will buy you as the mentor, right? But when you start to go cold into broader audiences here, nobody cares at this point about you so much. Whatever claim you make, you are now just another guru in their feed, right? And yeah, you might have it in your marketing tactics like, hey, stop listening to these gurus over here. But you are this wannabe guru to them in that very moment. This is why you need a method. A mentor of mine once told me that you basically have either people being sold on the method or they're being sold on the mentor. Organically, the mentor can carry a lot of weight. When you start getting into cold traffic, you need to have the method carrying a stream amount of weight as well too. Ideally, you have it where both are meeting in the middle and creating a powerful effect that starts to drastically increase your conversions. Now, the offer ecosystem is what's going to really help to make this whole thing tick that much more. And this is because you need to just stop thinking so much about, hey, one new offer at a time, if you will. Start thinking about the overall system, right? What does that consist of? Like, your front end, your core offer, upsell, backend, the long-term value, LTV, and how everything is connected. Because once this is dialed in, now your ad spend actually works and makes sense beyond just that first purchase, right? Your funnel works that much stronger. Your content works a lot harder now because of how people are being moved through the system. It's like, for myself, I have retargeting campaigns that I can I can spend dollars every month, right? Where I'm spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars every day across my entire ad account. But I can spend just literally $10 can get so far with retargeting because of who I'm fueling through my entire ecosystem. And this makes things go much further, both my organic content and my paid content, fueling that in there. And now I can pay that much more to acquire a customer than my competition. And that's what I want for you on this side as well too. A lot of times we play the organic game because we think it costs too much for the paid ads. And I think that all comes back towards you just got your economics broken. Like if you have something that is feeding your audience with quality leads to now get back in front of those members is very cost effective. $10 can get you extremely far It's like you're getting in front of your ideal people for pennies. And that's where people really mess up, because you're doing a good job, honestly, organically, potentially bringing people in without paid ads. But now you're just relying on the algorithm itself to continue getting in front of them. There is some really powerful ways to get around that there, big picture, when you start to look at the entire ecosystem as a whole and not just let me wake up and pump out content today and just see what happens from it. Right? That's where things start to work. And like, I mean, here's how mine even works, if you will, at a whole. It's really, you got, just myself, personal brand, right? From there, it's all right. Someone comes through a potential lead magnet. Then maybe they come through and they grab a low ticket offer of mine. Then they see a series of upsells. Now they're immediately inside of my ecosystem, where they immediately now start to get introduced to my high ticket offer. Now their value begins to multiply, because once again, dollars are coming in throughout the ecosystem. They see my high ticket offer. Eventually, if we keep on getting great results together, now they're getting a back end offer. And this entire thing just keeps moving full circle. Now, one hack that's going to make this even more successful for you, and it depends on which element within it, right? I'll put an asterisk here first. When it comes down to your core flagship offer, what I like to view is that kind of main high ticket offer that's leveraged. You want to be careful with what I'm about to say, but everything outside of that, I want you to lean in heavily here. You want to sell before you build. That is a mistake that so many people go against, basically, right? You need to sell before you build. I just sent an email out yesterday that generated me sales really around the specific topic, if I'm being honest here. And it's really about how I made a new upsell. This literally happened like about a week and a half ago. I was running numbers, KPIs to see kind of how things were looking. I realized that my first upsell basically was not performing as well as the rest of the funnel. And so I needed to basically quickly readjust. And so I just felt like the reason, I'm just trusting my gut over the years as a marketer, I believe the reason was that the upsell offer was outdated. So I just went ahead and created a new one. But when I say I created a new one, I created this idea. I created the offer. I created the funnel. I created the marketing message. I did not go ahead and create the deliverable just yet, right? This is a $97 upsell. I knew that if somebody paid for it, I can go ahead and quickly build it with the assets I already have, right? So literally, I went ahead, ran the ad there, and 2 days later, I think a little less than 2 days later, boom, someone bought that upsell. Now I go ahead and basically, I have the validation. A couple hours later, I make this thing. It's good to go, and now it is already in there. But I go this way instead, because I don't want to go ahead and just make something, and then I realize that's not what people want, right? I think there's something powerful about when you can figure out the messaging first, then you really understand what it is that people are buying. And now I just need to make sure that what they're buying is exactly what I build. Where a lot of the times we start to build all these things where it's kind of stuff that may seem cool, and you can get distracted by focusing on the wrong areas. That's not really why someone pulled out their credit card and paid for it, right? So that's what I did here, right? And so once again, the offer wasn't done. There's no portal. There's no assets yet, and people still bought. It's because I understood what they already wanted, right? And this is important right there on its own, because most coaches are really out there building first, then they try to sell. In my eyes, that's just completely backwards. And like I mentioned, yes, this applies to new offers, upsells, back-end programs. I have my core flagship offer, but I'm always making offers to like slices off of it, right? It's these kind of bespoke offers here that I've never tried before, but it's a slight nuance where I know it's real easy for me to deliver on, because it has an element of what already exists, right? So that's what we want to have there, right? And I'm telling you, people stay stuck because of overthinking these wrong areas, and honestly underthinking the correct ones, right? Primarily, honestly, underthinking the economics, if you will, here, right? They chase content, they ignore the overall structure of the ecosystem itself, and they're out here acting like Jimmy, right? And it's like, don't be Jimmy. Jimmy's out here launching one offer, right? He's running ads, getting a couple sales, thinks he's cracked the code, then next week it's nothing, and then he's out here blaming the algorithm. Jimmy does not have a business. He's just creating moments. And more specifically, he's created a moment. He has a moment. We need to really zoom out and see the bigger picture at play here. Your business isn't just content. Your business isn't just one offer. You're not an offer dealer out here. Your business is a machine, right? And this machine, it's one cohesive unit working together to turn cold traffic into buyers who pull out their credit card to pay for high ticket services, to pay for your high ticket offer. That is the end goal. And the reality is, though, there can be a lot of milestones along the way that can make your business far more profitable, big picture. I want you to think of this like an engine, right? Think of your business like an engine here. Your content, that's the fuel, right? That's the fuel that keeps things rolling. Your offer is the ignition, and your back end is what keeps the whole thing running. Most of you are just pouring, just basically pouring fuel at the end of the day here into a broken engine. I want you to think about that. Like how foolish is that? How stupid is that? We need to wake up and start to realize that simply put, if one piece is missing, if one piece of the engine is missing, the whole machine slows down or completely breaks. Get this right, and everything starts compounding for you in a powerful way. Now, I want you to stop asking yourself, how do I get more leads? How do I get more leads, Justice, right? Because I'll tell you what, for one thing, you're not new to how I talk. It's pre-sold leads you really need. It's qualified leads you need more than anything. Just leads itself is pointless. You need to start instead asking yourself, does my ecosystem actually make money? Does my ecosystem give me the chance to actually convert qualified leads into buyers and then into high-ticket clientele? Because if it doesn't, more leads just means more wasted effort. Like I said, picture yourself just pouring that gasoline into a completely broken engine, right? Into a car that will not run no matter how much gasoline is in there. If you saw a video of someone doing that, you would think that they're ridiculous. Start looking at your own business and make sure you're not doing that in the same way. Don't pour into a leaky bucket. Fill in the clogs, fix those bottlenecks, and then you can start to really throw a lighter into throw gas in the fire, if you will, there too. All right, so hopefully that hits home for you on this side here as well. Like I said, I want to make this to the point for you, make this thing really hit. Now, if this did click for you, the next question should be obvious, right? Now, how do I go ahead and actually build this ecosystem right? So click the link above over here. I'll drop the video for it. I already broke this down step by step on how I built this for my own business. And this is not surface level by any means. I actually went extremely into the weeds for you. And I pulled this out specifically from a paid workshop I did so you can actually create the same thing for yourself. So click the link here. I'll drop it for you. Go check that out next. I'll see you in the next one.